Tonight, Bernie's on TV again tonight. Bernie Sanders is already a big target for his rivals as the front-running candidate, but he just left himself wide open for doubling down on his praise for Cuban leader Fidel Castro. Take a look.
It's unfair to simply say everything is bad. You know, when Fidel Castro came into office, you know what he did? He had a massive literacy program. Is that a bad thing, even though Fidel Castro did it?
You know what? I think teaching people to read and write is a good thing. I have been extremely consistent and critical of all authoritarian regimes all over the world. The truth is the truth, and that's what happened in the first years of the Castro regime.
So, what is he saying?
Well, what he should be saying is, yes, they learned to read, but it's an oppressive dictatorship that has 0% growth, that the people have no mobility, upward mobility there, that 40% of the professionals are leaving the island, doctors are leaving on droves, because there's nowhere to go there. I've been there. I went there, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. I don't think you can go anymore. I kind of slipped in there.
No, you can't do it anymore.
The infrastructure is horrible there. I don't know what goes on inside the houses, but the outside of the houses are dilapidated. The restaurants, like, you can't just stop and have a Coke in a restaurant, because the only restaurants are in people's houses. So you have to go into people's houses to have a restaurant. You can't, like, go to the beauty parlor, get your nails.
It's a dictatorship.
None of that.
It's a dictatorship.
The quality of life is awful.
Well, most dictatorships, that's what they have.
Can I add one more thing?
Executions, show trials, punishment of dissident artists and journalists. Castro denied the Red Cross access to Cuba to investigate the conditions there. I think anyone, any American has probably seen Cuban refugees trying to flee to come to Florida. And by the way, there's a lot of Cuban refugees and their families that live in Florida right now that have come here seeking a new life, and this is not going to play well in Florida,
Of
which
course
is an
not.
important
I want to
state.
say one more thing about the Cubans, though.
Sure.
They were the most lovely people.
Oh, yeah. They're
Friendly.
just under an oppressive
The music,
regime.
the art is just beautiful. I mean, really beautiful, and very outre, you know? I mean, they're avant-garde. They're way ahead of everybody in art, in my opinion.
It's
but the
dictatorship.
situation is horrible there for those people.
And that's the thing. This is the same thing that Bernie's been saying for a long time. This is nothing new, and he just doubled down on it. And the suggestion that Castro came in and taught people how to read without saying more, without saying what all of you are saying, that it's such an oppressive regime. I mean, he's killing political dissidents. There's no freedom of speech there. That's why people were leaving in droves. And Megan, to your point, I mean, my goodness, the Latinos from Cuba that are there in Florida, they hear this word revolution. They don't hear it in English. They hear it in Spanish, and it reminds them over and over again of what happened in Cuba. And I think, you know, if the Democratic nominee is Bernie, and he's saying these things, and he's this democratic socialist, that is not going to do well in Florida, a swing state, for that Latino contingent. I mean, they are not going to forgive him for this position.
It's a dictatorship. There is nothing groovy about a dictatorship.
I mean, it's
just nothing good about a dictatorship.
But doesn't
for journalists, for anybody, I mean, wherever it is in the world, we bitched at people for getting next to people who were saying, oh, you know, it's not so bad. It is bad.
But doesn't it concern you that, I mean, and again, this isn't, I think for Republicans in particular, the trying to sort of reanimate, reestablish what socialism means. People are always saying, oh, but it's like Europe, it's like Sweden. But the problem is he's saying things like Castro did some good things. He also defended Maduro, Venezuela's strongman, a dictator, and he wouldn't say whether or not he considered Juan Guaido, the legitimate leader of the country. So he's going around saying that, like, these oppressive socialist dictators are pretty good guys.
But it should concern Republicans that Trump is in bed with dictators also, and he's trying to turn his country into a dictatorship. That's the real problem. Let's not lose sight of that.
But you can't whataboutism this. Like, you just can't. Because, again, my problem right now is that I've heard, rightfully so, Democrats for the past 3.5 years saying what you're saying.
Yes.
Dictatorships are bad. His coziness with Putin, blah, blah, blah. But I thought that your party was supposed to be better than this then. And, again, there's
so did
still
most
a big...
Democrats.
So did most Democrats. Fair enough. But if you're talking about how Maduro's a good guy, Castro did some good things, for me, it's no different than saying, like, hey, Hitler was a good orator. It's that insane. It's that bad.
How about
Absolutely
Mussolini
insane.
let the trains run on time.
Exactly. That's
It's
exactly what it
crazy,
is.
yes.
It sounds
And I
insane.
think that's
Sorry, but say that one more time. I'm sorry.
They said that Mussolini made the trains run on time, but meanwhile, they were rounding up Jews and killing people in Italy at the time. So no, that's not a good thing.
And that's why I think in the debate tonight,
No.
we're going to hear this. We're going to hear it over and over and over again. We should also hear, I think, about his NRA record. I think we should also hear about how he's going to pay for Medicare.
Right.
You know, he is the front runner now,
Yes.
but these are real
But to not
significant
care
questions.
about Florida and Cubans in Florida and Cuban Americans in Florida is particularly.
But he said they were bad guys. He said Fidel was a bad guy. All he was saying was there's this one thing that they
one's
did.
gonna
hear
And
it.
American voters
It
don't
doesn't
understand
matter.
nuance. They
Yes,
hear
they do.
communism
No,
and
no,
go crazy.
there's no way around that. This is as bad as you know who's saying there were good people on
Yep.
both sides.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. There's no way to get.
I don't agree.
Oh, I do. Once you start saying, well, you know, Hitler wasn't so bad because
But he didn't say that.
But no, he didn't say that. But to a Cuban person,
Yep.
Yeah.
it's just as bad.
I agree.
It's
Cuban
just as
refugees
bad.
that came to
Cuban
this country
refugees
seeking
who
freedom.
lost everything in Cuba because of Castro. Yeah, it's as bad.
Yeah.
It's as bad.
You can't laud his literacy program and
Not to
not
me.
highlight the fact that he's a
We're all on the
stone
same page
cold
with this.
killer.
What a day.
Yes.
He's dead now. Fidel is dead.
He is dead.
Fidel is dead. His brother will be dead soon. The whole thing is going to change very soon. Anyway.
Well, let's hope
Hopefully.
so. Let's
Yeah.
hope so.
Okay.